everybody. This is Brother Larry with Working Man's Radio here with Chaz.
Hey!
And Skinner.
What's up?
And Yonrico Scott.
Hello.
How are you, buddy?
I'm great.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us. We just wanted to get in the inside of your mind, almost, of Yonrico Scott and see what you do and behind the scenes. And you're a ridiculously good drummer, and we appreciate what you do, so...
Well,
just want to let you know, let everybody know what you do.
Well, thank you. Well, I'm in the middle of my sister kind of labeled it the best. She says I'm in another run, because Derek Trucks, I just left him, and that was 15 years, and we saw the world about 1,000 times around.
Wow.
When I first started with him, we did 320 gigs a year.
Holy cow.
Right. And now I'm with the Royal Southern Brotherhood. But I don't want to jump ahead.
So where did it all start?
Where did it all start? Well, I think I'm one of the blessed few people on the planet that early, like at 5 years old, I knew what I wanted to do. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. My mom was a gospel singer. She sang in a group called the Detroit Harmonettes. They were very famous in the Detroit area. We're talking now, in the late 50s, early 60s. She toured with people like Sam Cooke and Johnny Taylor came to my house. The Five Blind Boys of Alabama,
wow.
The original ones.
Cool.
Because all the ones now, I don't think maybe one or two of them are original. They all live here. And from that. I always knew I wanted to be a drummer, so we always had gospel rehearsals at my house. My first gig was at 6 or 7, playing in church. I recorded my first record in Detroit at the age of 16. But I also played football in high school, and I was a high school All-American in 1973.
Wow.
And I got a scholarship, a full-ride scholarship to the University of Alabama, and Ohio State, Penn State, Kentucky, and I went to Alabama for a freshman, recruitment tour, and I made the team, talked to the Bear. He was there, right? Bear Bryant, man.
Wow.
And
what position?
I was an offensive guard. I was 270.
Wow.
Now I'm 220. I was 270, but I went through the whole thing, man. I played, I made the team. So I said, I want to talk to the music guy. I want to interview for the music guy because I want to major in music. I want to play drums. I've been playing drums all my life, and so I interviewed, and they go like, okay, let them just interview. Let them, audition. He's not going to make it. I made it. But then they said, well, we never had anyone who played football and majored in music because they're such conflicting majors. Plus if you majored in music back in those days, you had to march in a band, right? That was just
so you're playing football and playing music,
right? So I couldn't. So I, under protest, left University of Alabama.
Wow.
Went back home to Detroit. My mom, my football coach was calling back. Don't you come back? Don't you come back? It's a mistake. I did come back, and I had to get a job. And my mom she was strategic about. Raising me. My mom. I was raised with my mom alone, and I ended up getting transferred the next year to Kentucky State University, which is in Frankfort, Kentucky, and I went there as a freshman. Made the football team. They changed the major. I majored in music, so I ended up staying there for 2 years. I started a band called Midnight Star. They went on to be really big. They had a tune called Freakazoid on your dance floor. They quit school. I went and quit school. I transferred to the University of Kentucky, majored in music in Lexington, and graduated in 1978. Came to Atlanta, Georgia.
Did you have an afro?
I had a little one. There are pictures.
Cool.
There are pictures. I had an afro.
Sack platform shoes.
Yeah. I was like all typical, man. Who's Hendrix? I thought it was Hendrix.
Awesome.
So. Came to Atlanta, right away, got a job. Right away, got a gig. I got a gig as a director at the Neighborhood Arts Center, which was an art school and it was on Georgia Avenue. It was old school. I had incredible students. Here we go. One of my premier students was Count Mobutu.
Wow. That's
He
radical.
was 35, and he had a job as a meat cleaner. And he decided they had a program. If you were an adult, you can go through CETA, which was through Jimmy Carter. You can go to school. They would get a program, and they sent you to school for free. There's all this money for the arts there.
Yeah.
After Jimmy Carter, after Jimmy Carter was Reagan. All that was stopped. So Count Mobutu, Spike Lee was my student. Cool student, you know.
Wow.
Bill Nunn, great school. And then from that, I met Joe Jennings from the Neighborhood Arts Center, who just 30 years later, he just retired from Spelman. Still my friend. And that was my first Bam Bam. Right away, I got every top gig in Atlanta. Matter of fact, I went to the Musicians Union today. I am one of the strongest able people in Atlanta for getting, for doing all that jingle work, doing all that earlier work when they were really documenting that work. And through that, through the years, those early years, I started with Peebo Bryson. So Peebo Bryson was probably my first real world class. I played on Tonight I Celebrate My Love for You.
Wow, I didn't know.
Yeah, I did. I played on Georgia with Ray Charles.
Nice.
They redid it to make it a national. Ray Charles was readmitted into Georgia. Remember the whole story where they kind of exercised in Georgia,
Absolutely.
where they readmitted him to Georgia and made Georgia on My Mind a state song. They had to, for copyright rules, they had to redo it, and they redid it in Atlanta. And I played on it. Bill Hatcher played on it. Ricky Keller played on that.
Right.
It was like 2 takes, bro.
Wow.
And I paid 9 years for that.
Wow.
Because they used it, in the Capitol when they go,
Big time, yeah.
Right.
Big usage.
And
So Atlanta's always been hopping
dude,
musically.
it was hopping. When I came to Atlanta, there was barely 1 million people. Now there's over 7.
Wow.
When it came to Atlanta, Ted Turner was just starting. I played on the first Brave theme, first CNN theme. Because I was I was a jingle drummer.
Yeah, you're there.
And the studio that did it then was Doppler, still there. 404-873-6941.
Give him a call.
Yeah, what's up? So, and then through those days, I could run it. Through those days, it was heavy studio playing.
That was the 80s, right?
That was the 80s.
Yeah.
First Tinsley Ellis album. Bam! That was a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Tinsley Ellis album, this album, Georgia Blue, is in the Blues Museum. I saw it. I held it. That album, right?
Right? I got goosebumps this year.
Tell me, that's Tinsley Ellis. He's bad. He's like the dude,
Yeah,
And Tinsley Ellis, and then he did Georgia Flame, and that was with Ricky Keller. Ricky Keller was an iconic figure in Atlanta. I'm that guy who knows all this stuff because I was around.
Musicologist.
Right. And in this town, there's only one other might be stronger than me, Bruce Hampton.
Yeah,
Colonel Bruce.
Right.
Bruce.
Because he's he is the historian, not just with facts and tidbits about the music in Georgia, but music in America.
Yeah.
Because,
He's played with everybody.
and everybody's open for him. Fish,
Yeah.
Widespread Panic,
Yeah.
String Cheese.
Yeah.
You're saying that he's opened up for them?
No.
They
They open
opened up
for him.
They opened
Really?
for him.
Dave Matthews Band.
Really?
Yeah, for ARU.
The Aquarium Rescue
The
Plan.
Aquarium Rescue Unit
Yes,
was
yes,
really,
Rescue
really big. And they were like when they were doing a horror tour. And the horror tour basically was John Popper's whole festival. But Bruce was like right under. They were like the next bill. And then it was Fish, Dave Matthews Band. They were like, yeah, man. Dave Matthews Band, dude. But the reason why they so big, boy, is because it's all the same members. Dave Matthews Band's the same cats, bro.
Yep.
And it's smart. Widespread Panic, same cats.
Same dudes, yeah.
Same cast, that's Georgia folklore, And Bruce, that's my brother, man. And he's one of those kind of guys, he understands that he don't want to go crazy with he's just soft spoken, but he's an artist. So he always is able, right now, dude, you go talk to him today, he's going to have 4 or 5 new cats in his band. My new keyboard player's in his band. And he has Ivory Gent in his band.
Yeah. Oh, Gent is awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, Bruce, hey, man, so you see all this artwork in my house. One time I had a gig with Bruce. It was at the house of Howard Finster. You know what I'm talking about?
What?
Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Really?
Right!
Where was that at?
At his house.
Was it here?
No, he lives like, you have to research, but it's in, 3 hours from Calhoun, Georgia, or something. I mean, I don't even want to say that.
Yeah.
But it would, man.
What was it like in that house?
Bro.
I mean, just blown away from the top.
Man, he had like a thing, and he had a festival in his backyard. Right? And he had this thing, he walked in, it was called the House of Bikes.
Really?
And it was 2,000 bikes that Howard Finster welded together.
What?
And you walk through this, like, what the fuck?
Oh my God. Is this your house? Is this a museum here?
Right, and his house was a museum.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
And he was on the front porch preaching to like 45 people. And they were like all like with their mouths open. He was talking, God told me to come here, And then in the backyard was a gospel trio playing, and then was Bruce, and then right before us was this guy playing the guitar hitting a fish. Bruce, he's the one, man,
He's a wild man.
And man, listen, man, I think, I'm one of the blessed few. Because how I met Derek Trucks, playing with Bruce Alton.
Yeah.
I was playing with the Fiji Mariners, and this dude came up, opened up for me, like 15. Who is
that? Yeah.
Right?
The train.
Then, and then.
So did you meet Derek in the 80s, or did you meet him in the early 90s?
I met Derek. Well, see, Derek in the 80s, he was only born like 80.
Yeah, he's a youngster.
Well, see, something like 70 something. I met him like 92.
Okay.
We did his first record in 94.
That was on Landslide Records.
Landslide Records. Mm-hmm. Michael Rothschild, who we did this record and nobody would give us a deal. Right? Nobody would get Derek Trucks a deal. And then
boy, did they make a mistake, huh?
Right. And then they go, well, Michael Rothschild says, man, Rico, man, I really want to do this record. I was like, okay. We released it. Now it was kind of a cult hero record. We took the pictures.
It's got that blurry picture on the front kind of.
Right, and we took it in little 5 points.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And Flournoy Holmes did the picture.
Flournoy Holmes. Eat a Peach. That's the guy that designed Eat a Peach.
He did. I did my album cover picture of Be In My World at his studio. Oh, dude, he's on Ponce Leon still.
Wow.
He did a cover for a band I worked with a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he still do it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
So, we're coming up to the 90s.
Maybe we should work with him. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
He's a good guy, man.
Right around that time, that's when Derek Trucks bands kind of started, right?
Yes.
It was like we'll bring up to 1995. So yeah, we're just like coming up to the time where in the early 90s you met Derek.
So you said you played with him for 15 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So that.
I was just going to ask you, getting into, starting up with the Derek Trucks band,
Okay.
1995,
Okay, was it 95? I think it was earlier.
Way
I think it was like 94. Not way earlier. I'm bad with years. well, the first record came out 95, so it had to be like 2 years before that, so it had to be like 93,
okay,
94.
Yeah, so when you guys first started off, what was it like?
It was okay. Well, it was a crazy circumstance how I got the gig. I got a call from Bruce, and Bruce says, man, this guy, man, that dude we met, Derek Trucks, needs a drummer tomorrow. I go, really? I said, where's he playing? He said he's playing in Macon at the Peach Blossom Festival, opening for 38 Special.
Wow.
And they had another drummer, Todd Smalley was in the band, Larry Oates, Ron Roper, and Derek. And they had another drummer, and he just couldn't cut it. They said, man, you want to do it? I said, I can do it. I went over and rehearsed with them once. Learned their songs. Bam, next day. They go, like, how do you play like that? It's this jingle.
Ain't no thing.
Because you remember, your recall is real quicker when you do a bunch of stuff. Like when I do Michael stuff, I just got a way of kind of, so we do that. We play. And we played that gig, and I was like, when I met him, I was like, oh man, what's this? You know, because at that point I had been around Stevie Wonder. I've been around some.
Right. We kind of skipped that part. You know, you left a lot of people in when you were doing session work.
Right, session work. Well, I talked about Ray Charles, but you know, up to that point, I had already played with Stevie Wonder, John Denver, Ray Charles. People, Bryce, have been around the world 4 or 5 times.
Whitney Houston.
Yep. Been nominated for Grammy. MC Hammer. Okay. You know, the list. You know, it was a list, right? And then I had, right when I did that, right before that, I had just gotten off of Broadway. Been on Broadway for like 3 years. I did The Wiz with Stephanie Mills, the original one. I did Dreamgirls with Jennifer Holliday, the real one. And see, Atlanta did the Black Cultural Arts Festival would promote a huge, big black musical.
Oh, wow.
So they get the top black drummer.
Was B.B. King there?
I played with him, but he wasn't in the, not black musical.
Gotcha.
Like.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Like, you know, are you familiar with 5 Guys Named Mo?
I'm not.
Off the chain.
Okay.
It's the music of Louis Jordan. You know who Louis Jordan is? He did Caledonia.
Oh, yeah.
What makes your big head so hard? Ma. So he did all these songs. He did Is You Is or Is You Ain't My Baby. Right? He did I Like Him Fat Like That. You know, he had all these songs and he was out of the like he died in the 60s. But so this guy Cameron McIntosh in London, they did it called a play review. Now, Cameron McIntosh is a huge London producer. He did Phantom of the Opera and Les Miserables. So he already made a bunch of money. So he wanted to do five Guys Named Mo, and it premiered on Broadway. And they did like 2 years on Broadway, and then they wanted to do a world tour. I got the show. Did it, you know, like huge.
Wow,
it was a big show.
Oh yeah,
I was on stage. You know, we did the country.
That was the first world tour you did.
No, that was the first Broadway. No, that was the third Broadway. Before I had toured the world with all those other Whitney Houston and everybody before that.
Okay.
So we're talking like right now we're in 1990. So 90 at 92 is when I started. 92, 93, I started doing Derek.
Yeah.
See, by then, before I got with Derek, I had already been doing it. Mm-hmm. So when I met Derek and I heard him play, I go like, man, this guy's annoying. And I said, man, let me just step back a little bit. You know, this is something that I'm going to feel like it's going to be something that's going to take history. Little did I know it really did take history.
How big it was going to be.
You know, because, I mean, it was no money. Mm-hmm. His dad was the road manager. Mm-hmm. You know, and because of those, they're faithful to him at that time. I think he was really faithful to me and Todd, who were the original members. Todd had been with him 1 year longer than me. Then I'd been with him a year. So I was with him 15 years. Todd was with him 16 years. Mm-hmm. So through those years, man, I watched it. I watched the career go, instead of going whoop, whoop, it went like a gradual incline.
Mm-hmm. And through those years, I mean, you guys opened up for a lot of jam bands.
Right.
You guys opened up for Dave. You guys opened for Government Mule, Leftover Salmon, String Cheese, right?
String Cheese.
Fish
a couple times. He played with Fish. You know, everybody, of course, wanted him to play.
Yeah.
I was there today. You know, his dad is Bush Trucks' brother. But he hadn't played with the Allman Brothers until he really was like 21. So I was there today. They said, hey man, you want to play in the Allman Brothers?
Did you see his face?
But he was like, you know what he did? He was so cool that he actually came to everybody in Derek Trucks band and kind of said, look man, I got this chance to go play. I got a chance to play with the Allman Brothers. But it's not going to have anything to do with y'all. Because he had to be sure, because look, you know, by then I'm in my 40s. You know, I'm not going to just wait around for you to do that. I'm not a fan of it. You know, I knew about the Allman Brothers, but
yeah,
I got to eat. I got grown kids, you know.
Yeah.
So, and so we did that, man, you know, I watched it go from everywhere, from all kind of acclaim, doing the world 3 or 4 times. It gave me a shot in my career. It also gave me a huge visibility at being a jazz and jam band drummer. Because we were probably, I would think, one of the top jam bands in the world. For the simple reason we played so many styles. We went and studied Indian classical music with Ali Akbar Khan.
Wow.
We went to the college. You know what I'm talking about? He is he's like Ravi Shankar, but he plays the sarod. Derek plays the Indian sarod. But we went to the school in San Rafael, California, for like days, band trip, and camped out and studied Indian classical music. So we have 3 or 4 tunes.
Like the Beatles.
Yeah, like George Harrison did.
Yeah, right.
But like really studied this stuff. I mean, he like where they like to the point where they respect Derek because he gave Indian classical music a new visibility because of his acclaim as a jam band guy. Just like the Grateful Dead did.
Yeah.
See, the Grateful Dead would have Shakir Hussain on stage. And then we gave a bit, or then they had Olatunji.
Yep.
So they gave djembe drumming. Djembe drumming got really famous to the hippies because of the Grateful Dead. It wasn't because of Africans, because that djembe drumming really got famous in New York. Because Olatunji moved to New York from Africa as a kid, so he was in these like neighborhoods in New York and got all that stuff together and took that design of the djembe back. You know. The original design, of course, is from Africa, but a lot of the commercialism of that instrument was done in America because it gave a platform for a big notice. And he, Olatunji was very appreciative of Mickey Hart for all he did. Because the Planet Drum is nothing but it got Giovanni, the greatest conga drummer ever. He got I'm missing names. Then he had David Gilbaldi from Tower Power playing drum set, one of the greatest drum set players. So he played a notice to world percussion, and so did Derek by giving visibility to a lot of blues guys. B.B. King, like Tedeschi Trucks Band, toured with B.B. King. B.B. King opened for them.
Wow.
Because they're big now. They sold more records than B.B. Susan Tedeschi has sold more records than B.B. King.
Holy cow.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
B.B. King didn't sell 1 million records until he did that record with Clapton. Clapton,
Well,
Bonnie Raitt has done so much for Afro-American classical music. That's what I call jazz and blues.
okay. Right on.
That's wild. Yeah, I just saw where Susan played with Bob Dylan.
Oh.
That's pretty wild.
Oh, she bad booty, man.
Yeah.
And she loves that. I mean, she probably was on because her daddy loved Bob Dylan.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I love her.
So let's get into today a little bit. You know, what you got going on today? I know. So you toured with Derek Trucks Band. Let's say early like '94. You said till what, like 2010, right?
Yep. In 2010, we won a Grammy.
Yep, I saw that. 2009, you guys won a Grammy.
I have one in the house in my car.
That is too
I was going to ask where it was.
I'll bring it. I was gonna. If y'all hadn't beat me to the house, I was gonna sit it out for you. I will go get it because I never put it out.
Yeah, we'd love to see it. That's awesome.
But hey, that was it was a crazy story. My girl's giving me a hard time. It was a crazy story. So we found out we were going to take a hiatus real quick. And then he said, we'll take a hiatus. He was real, great about it. And then right after we decided we were going to do that, we found out we get nominated for a Grammy. Nobody wanted to go to the Grammys. So I go. I'm going to the Grammys. I'm like, this is what we're not going to pay. So I bought a ticket, dude. Got me a Beamer. Suit, right? I go to the Grammys. I walk in the Grammys. I'm walking slowly. I'm kind of, oh, man. The Grammys. I'm walking in with a Robert Cray. And he's nominated, like, with us in the same class. I go, hey, Robert, I'm Yonrico Scott. I play with the Derek Trucks Band. I go like, man, listen, I've been a great admirer of your work. I said, we're not going to win. I know you're going to win. We was against Mavis Staples, Robert Cray, Susan Tedeschi, and Ruthie Foster and the Derek Trucks Band. So we sit there. We're in like the pre-thing. They have two programs. Right. The one is the cool one, is the early one nobody sees. And the one's the TV thing is, So they mention our name. They call our name. I accept the award. I get on stage, do the speech. We get a Grammy, and then we take a break. And
you were the only one there?
Huh?
You're the only one from Jack
in the band.
I didn't know that. Wow.
And I went down the red carpet, talking to Ringo Starr one day. I'm sitting there one time talking to Ringo Starr and Mick Fleetwood.
That's
hanging out with that.
I wasn't walking down the red carpet because I'm going to be there in 3 days. So
hey, that's cool.
Right on.
I'm pretty metrosexual, and they says, so what are you wearing?
That's always
right. Sure. Like, but I said, hey, this is nice. I don't know the name of it.
Did you see the BMW though?
Awesome. And so then I get that, and we do that, and then right away I get through. We win a Grammy, and I come home and start being my world, which I'm gonna give you this record, and it's kind of my Mona Lisa. It's a record that I've always wanted to do.
Isn't your sister on that one?
My sister's on it. Derek Trucks is on it.
Right.
He gave me that.
Yeah, that's a great song, the one he does.
Right. It's and Grant Green's on it. That's a tune that's blowed up around the world. That tune kind of put me on the map. It gave me a songbook. It's really my second solo record. I have another record that hadn't really been formally released called Turning the Corner. I did that one right after I had my heart surgery. Had open heart surgery in a few years ago. And Be In My World came out, and man, it was like, I took that album around the city, around the country, and did that record. Got Derek, had to drive to Florida. He overdubbed it. Another producer, Oliver Wells, very renowned. He produced Earth, Wind & Fire. He wrote some songs, wrote a song dedicated to my mother. He knew my mother who died 22 years ago, that my sister and I sang a duet. So big old thing for me. I painted the cover, went through this whole thing. And then right when I'm about to release the record, I get a call from the Royal Southern Brotherhood. Right? And I get a text from Devin. It says, man, I thought you was in the Tedeschi Trucks Band. He says, I see all them black people in there. I thought you was one of them. I said, no, I'm not one of those. And so he called me.
You're talking about Devin Allman, of course.
Devin Allman. Right, Devin Allman. And then I get a call from Charlie Wooten, who I've been knowing Charlie Wooten for 7 years. I married him. I'm a minister.
Right.
Cool.
And I officiated his wedding. Yes. I officiated a lot of weddings. Matter of fact, he's playing at Northside Tavern. I won't get off the subject.
Friday.
But the whole band, I married. 3 of the guys out of the 5, I married them.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
Right. So Charlie called me, says, I'm doing this band, man. You got to get on it. He said, Cyril Neville's in it. get the fuck out of here. I go, we're gonna have to consider this. So I get it, and then this new dude that I had never met, Mike Zito, who is an iconic blues dude, and I said, man, let's do it. They said, then at first they were just talking about me going on the road with them. And they said, man, you want to do the record too? So they said, yeah. They said, we're going to do it at Dockside. I'm like, I'll record it there. That's where I recorded Derek's first record. Okay. That's where I played with Gatemouth Brown, B.B. King.
That's in Louisiana.
Louisiana is a very famous studio. Okay. That painting in my room, the long one, is of Dockside Studio.
That's right.
Oh, cool.
That's the painting. And we did the record in 2 days. They said, man, are you really going to go on the road with us? I go up to the room, I look up, man, they touring all over the world. They didn't have a record out. They had nothing. They had done no gigs. They were like already booked in Europe. They were already booked, the Louisiana Fest. The first gig was a TV show. I said, yeah, I think I'm going to do this. Mm-hmm. Just the spirit and the music was good. It felt good. So now, fast forward, 2 years later, the last year we did 27 countries, and the year before we did 25 countries. And this year we're nominated for DVD of the year. Last year was nominated for Top Blues Record of the Year.
Wow!
And now because of my connection with the Royal Southern Brotherhood, I've also played with Samantha Fish. I did her new record.
She's up and coming.
Right. I did I killed her record in 2 days. I did Devin Allman's new record.
Turquoise.
Yeah, I did Devin Turquoise. I just did another guy, Lawrence. I can't remember his name from Europe. I just did his record. Mm-hmm. Then we just did the second Royal Southern Brotherhood record. I co-wrote 4 songs on that.
Is that at Dockside as well? Still?
Dockside also. Mm-hmm. And I did a Yonrico Scott record this year, a Diane Durrett record this year, 2 country records. This has been a crazy year. And plus, just touring with these guys, we did some really crazy gigs. We played in Norway, some of the really craziest, biggest festivals in Europe. The band is so big in Europe because the Ruff Records is owned by Thomas Ruff, who was Luther Allison's first record company president, and he's a bad boy, and he has taken the Royal Southern Brotherhood under his personal wing. Did you know that ZZ Top was bigger in Europe than it was in America?
Holy cow!
Did you know that the Kings of Leon were bigger in Europe than they were in America, and they're from New York?
That's bizarre.
And so that's what's happening with the
ZZ Top. That's hilarious.
ZZ Top debuted on a show called Rock Class, and it's shot in Germany, and we just did it. That's the DVD that we just did.
Okay. I was going to say, I'm going to get a hold of that.
Yeah, it's Bad Booty.
This is a little random, but I heard you talking about shows, and I read that you've been on a lot of shows. You were on Conan, you've done throughout life. I was just kind of curious about some shows you've been on.
TV shows?
Yeah, TV shows.
Okay, I've done Conan a few times. What we did it maybe, I think 2 or 3 times with Derek. Did Dave the Letterman with Derek. Then I did with Earl Klug. I've done, Crossroads, and he's done BET, Jazz, and then I've done with.
Didn't you do some CBS stuff?
CBS with that. That's with. We did Good Morning America.
Good Morning America.
Huge.
Right. Okay. Yeah. How long was that for?
The actual performance.
Yeah.
We did 2 songs. I saw that they just did it again. Do you know what the demographics of the show that is?
What?
I mean, millions of people.
I would imagine, sure.
It's just stupid.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That was a huge outlet.
Man, we did that show.
That was with Earl.
No, that was with Derek.
Yeah, okay.
Derek, on the record that won the Grammy, we did Down in the Flood, which is a Bob Dylan tune.
Okay, yeah.
That was on the album Already Free. And then we also did I did, like I said, Arsenio, David Letterman, Tonight Show.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
When's Royal Southern Brotherhood coming back to Atlanta?
Yeah, you coming to Atlanta?
I don't know, but I bet you soon. Though we're really choosing out. We know Atlanta. We all know you know, how the market is. We had a really good showing. What was it? Oxygen? Where's the place? It's on West 3rd Street. Used to be Center Stage.
Old Center Stage.
Right.
Yeah.
We played there. We did good. You know, we're going to be choosy about Atlanta. Mm-hmm. We do really good in New Orleans. We're doing Jazz Fest this year.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
We're doing Wani.
You doing first weekend of Jazz Fest or second?
Last weekend, and we're doing Tipitina's the last night.
Oh, baby.
With Living Color.
Ooh.
And we did a tour for New Year's Eve. We did, you know, Cyril Neville, who has also been nominated for Blues Album of the Year, and also been probably going to be inducted to the Hard Rock Hall of Fame tour with the Rolling Stones. Wow. So during Christmas, we did Exile on Main Street tour, where we did 12 tunes of Exile on Main Street.
Wow.
And we knocked it out the box. Like, dude, we learned them. Like, really learned them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like Torn Afraid, all that stuff.
Like played them like several gigs.
Wow.
They performed it.
Like close your eyes and you feel like you're there.
Yeah. Right, like did our own thing, and it was really good for that band because it kind of made us learn something together. Like Derek Trucks Band, we would do crazy stuff with developing that jam band because I told you we studied with all these people, Ruben Blaze and Solomon Bird, and Phil Lesh. We were hung with these cats, right? So we were going writing retreats. We go to the Blue Ridge Mountains and stay in a cabin, rent cabins, and which is really what Derek built. So the Royal Southern Brotherhood. See, my big thing is I understand that process. You know, I understand the process of isolation. So when you go out and do it, when you present it, even though you want it to be jammy, it has to be kind of produced.
Yeah,
I'm of the thing, and you listen to like some of the really good bands all the bands that you just named: String Cheese, Leftover Salmon, Dave Matthews Band, Widespread Panic, Allman Brothers. Yeah, let's go on.
They practice a lot.
They all produce.
Yeah,
they might have sections of jammy.
Yeah,
but the heads are produced. You know, Phil Lesh, the Grateful Dead they were doing that back in the day. Mm-hmm. You know, when Phil, you look at Phil Lesh, he always has two microphones. One is a singing mic. One is the mic when he's talking to the band. And you don't hear that in the audience. He goes, "All right, we're coming up to the bridge, brothers. How y'all doing? Everybody good? All right, on 4, 1, 2. And that's what he's doing this, and all of a sudden they right into something. You ever notice that? Right, it seems so smooth. So everyone has their way of doing it. Derek had his way was with head motions, and I kind of with the Raw Southern Brotherhood. You know, we got our ways of doing it. You know, String Cheese had their way. They got drum percussionists, and they got their way of getting that jam thing going. You know. But boy, it's magical when it happens.
Notifications.
Yeah.
And you, what's the drummer there for String Cheese?
Well, it's Jason Han, he's the percussionist, and then Mike Travis.
Mike Travis used to play all the stuff.
Yeah, he used to do both.
You played with Travis?
I played with him a long time ago. Cool. But I remember because they had a percussionist for a while though.
Yeah, 05 they got him.
05, that's been a long time.
Yeah.
But I remember when he was doing all this because he's a lefty.
Yeah. Oh, he's a freak. Yeah.
He's a lefty.
Yeah.
Right, so he kind of plays the drums.
Yeah.
Right, Frank Kungas,
It's kind of backwards a little bit.
Right, it's cool though. Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. Well, what about just real quick? We're talking about your artwork. You want to talk a little bit about your artwork? You're a known painter. You paint your drum sets. You paint. You did the cover for the new album. You said
Royal Southern Brotherhood. That album will be out in May, and I'm really excited about that because that's an opportunity to get my my art platform on the road. You know, art. It's become that thing. You know, when you get to a certain age, you kind of have those bucket list things. You know. Yes. And one thing you get at a certain age, you really don't take no for an answer as much. You know, somebody say, "Man, why are you doing that?" So you get like 55, some years old, you go like, "I do it because I want to."
Right. It's become a passion, a hobby.
You know, and like after now, I've kind of gotten kind of good. I got a style. You know, and where it started from was I did set lists with the Derek Trucks Band.
Oh, okay.
I did 2,000.
Wow.
Every gig we did with the Derek Trucks Band, I painted a set list.
Wow. Very cool.
Right?
That's awesome,
and
man.
I got the original.
That's pretty wild because I actually have one.
Oh yeah, there are people who got hundreds of them.
Larry just said he's actually
has one of yours.
Right.
It was blue with orange lettering. And,
right.
Yeah. And you did a gig with Donna Hopkins.
Right. I did it from other bands too a lot. Yeah. And I kind of got a cult following. I got people who have hundreds of them.
Cool.
But what I would do, I would color copy them. I would carry a color copy machine on the road, and I would color copy 10 of them and keep the original. Man, we do Conan O'Brien, one song. I had picked this elaborate thing, and I had one song that we did them, and I got them.
Right on.
And so we almost wanted to do a book of it, and then we found when the interest was really hot for it, we researched it would be a lot of money. I wish we had did it. And for me, it would have been a big testimony to my hard work.
Like a great coffee table book.
Right. But through like that right there behind you, see that RSB, that's what a set list would look like.
Okay.
And see right there as you put the song, and through that, but that's on canvas. I did these on really hard stock paper, so they're really well done.
Cool.
And throughout the years, I'm in galleries all over Europe. I'm in like a lot of private owners. I probably sell about 10 to 15 a year.
Cool.
And I give them away.
Great.
Yeah.
I do them on drum heads. I do them on canvas. I paint drums.
I think that in art, as an artist, there's so many different forms of expressionism.
Right.
You play the drums. You're very creative. So now you're painting. Who knows down the road what you'll do. But it's beautiful. I'm an artist myself.
Right.
So I appreciate the artwork.
Right. Yeah.
And we found out recently Bob Dylan. He was a
worldly
known published artist.
Oh yeah.
And we didn't know that.
Oh,
we love his music, but then once you start to learn about this, and it's great to come.
Joni Mitchell.
Really?
Very respected. Jerry Garcia.
Yeah, Jerry Garcia.
Except Jerry Garcia tie. That was like.
I still got one.
Yeah,
Billy D. Williams, Tony Bennett.
So many of them, man. It goes hand in hand.
I love it.
When you have a lot of talent and the creative expression for them, it comes out in many different fashions.
And this year was a crazy year. I moved out here, man. For me, Annette. It kind of gives me a life a bit stable.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been
grounding.
Even though
something grounding,
right? You've been knowing me for a long time, and I've always kind of been grounded, but now I'm on another plane for some reason. So this last year, I just went paint crazy, man. I painted crazy.
Cool.
I painted probably 40 paintings.
Do you paint on the road?
Mm-hmm. I did this year.
Yeah.
I carried all through Europe. I painted.
Right on.
Man, one day, me and Charlie, we was in the van, man. I think I told you this on the phone. I was in the van. We were in the back. I went through in the van. We were riding in the bus. But at the same time, we looked to the right and we saw a bear. I'm talking about a full-grown bear in somebody's yard, residential neighborhood. And we both went, whoa! Howard, man. We really saw it. I mean, we were together. Nobody else saw it because it went by, man, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Seemed like an hour. We saw it there. Yes, it was shiny. I could see the color, so I painted it. And I tell you, I nailed it too. And it was like I had a bicycle by it. This fucking big thing. It was like you could see that it was where it wasn't supposed to be. And Charlie saw it, he go, oh man, you gotta give me that.
Right on.
And I had to give it to him.
That's some wisdom, man. We interviewed
right.
We'll ask him about it.
I said, hell yeah, he got it in his house. And I have a guy who's a custom framer. Check this thing. See that? That's my dog.
Oh, okay.
Right? My next door neighbor painted that.
Oh, nice.
Right, all up down. See, this is Ackworth Village. There's a lot of painters and artists.
Very creative.
And the guy who frames my stuff, he's a historic, and he builds he lives in like an old shed, like not a shed, but an old
workshop or something.
Factory.
Oh.
Like a 2-story factory. He owns an art gallery. It's right near the railroad tracks. Mm-hmm. I actually have a tune on my album called "The Train," and it's dedicated to Ackworth. Okay. And it says, "The train keep on moving." So there was a man. He had a girl. Everything was really happy in this world. Just talking about me.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
And then it opens up and it's a train.
Cool.
Right, honey?
It's about what?
About my girl in Ackworth.
See how it went from Ackworth to now it's about the girl. If I'm in the room, it's
Did I say girl in Ackworth?
I heard that girl.
we have it a recording, right? I was looking for the bear painting. If I find it, I'll show you guys.
There's something magical about hearing the train.
Yeah. Oh, dude, this thing you're here. I'm surprised we hadn't heard it now. It's right there. Yeah. So it's kind of with in all saying that is just kind of just established me with just another kind of serenity. And I've kind of been able to. Man, I ain't never put. I got put out 2 records in a year. Freaking right. That's the bear.
Okay. Wow,
that's cool.
And the little frame.
I'm really surprised you didn't have the bear like playing drums or
No, that's what that thing was doing.
Playing the djembe.
No, Crossing the road.
I will do that, but that's what he was like in somebody's yard, man.
He's looking for food. That's great.
Cool. Well, do you have any more questions you want to ask Larry?
One more. On our show, we're really trying to get the word out to the younger people that don't know, about people like you and all the legends out there. Mm-hmm. If there was a young drummer, who would you say to listen to besides yourself? Because I would totally tell someone to listen to you. But
I wouldn't say this myself. Okay. I'm gonna repeat your question so I make sure I'm doing it right.
Yeah.
So there's a young musician and he's growing and he's coming through the ranks. What kind of advice as far as what would I say to a young drummer who would listen to?
Yeah.
Well, see, I would even take it even further.
Okay.
Because I would tell a young drummer to listen to all kinds of stuff. Listen to some of the old school stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's where it all's coming from. All the bands that we like, especially the jam band. Most of the jam band music is kind of an offshoot of older stuff anyway. Widespread Panic, man. Yeah. They be doing, man, they were doing Pusher Man. Yeah. I played with Curtis Mayfield, right? Oh. They play Pusher Man, and they said, oh man, I love that new tune, Widespread Panic. I go, yeah, that's Curtis Mayfield. Yeah. So I would say listen to the old school stuff. Yeah. Listen to the Motown drummers. Listen to you don't have to listen to just Dennis Chambers or the super drummers. Listen to them groove cats, man. Yeah. Fleetwood Mac, Ringo Starr, Bernard Purdy. Yeah. The drummers that are kind of off the deep path. John Fishman. He's a great drummer. Yeah. The Allman Brother guys, they'll show you how to play, and those guys play better together. They're at their best together.
J-Lo and Butch.
Yeah, the J-Lo and Butch and Mark. It's unbelievable. So I say really go back and learn the history of not just drumming but music, groove. Understand reggae. That's a whole nother area. Yeah. It's all a part of it. They all kind of connected. Yep. It's all spirit music. Indeed. And really, when you listen to some of the newer stuff like Juno Mars and all that kind of stuff, they're going back listening to Latino music and Tito Ponte and
percussion. Yeah.
So it's all
definitely has that old school feel.
Oh man, and I love him. Mm-hmm. I love him. When he came out in the Super Bowl and played drums, I was like, really?
He beat it down. Yeah.
I was like, okay.
That performance brought him to more fans, and
yeah. Okay, there, hold up. Chili Pepper. See, there's old school. Now, see, those guys look young. But they old as me. Yeah. I know.
They've been around a while.
Chad Smith, he's from Detroit. So he's an old school drummer. When he was asked that same question you just asked me, he went back and talked about Pistol Pete, Zigaboo, from New Orleans, Larry London, Jeff Beccaro, Steve Gadd, Bernard Purdy, the old school groove drummers. Who played on all those records we love.
Funk Brothers, Pistol Pete.
Funk Brothers, all them cats, the old school cats.
Cool.
So, man, there's so much, I want to say one last thing, but there's so much that we can say about live music. Are we good? There's so much we can say about live music is that I appreciate everyone coming and participating and coming out listening and supporting live music. We're never going to lose that. It might change with album sales and CD sales, and
but there's
we might be getting it through airways, but it ain't nothing about going to see it up close and personal.
Feeling it.
Nobody's ever going to replace that. Thomas Dolby tried to do it with silence. Remember when he did that? He came out with one guy and people. You want to see somebody hitting on some drums and some guitars
all
and
that
running
energy.
That's right. It's right. It's an interactive thing.
Yeah.
We're never gonna lose that. Thank God. No matter what we do.
Yeah.
Thank God. So thank you everybody for participating and supporting live music. And another thing, go get you an instrument and play one yourself.
Amen to that.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Amen to that.
We both play instruments. He plays mandolin, I play guitar.
Right.
Yep. I grew up playing piano and trombone. So music is love, man. We love
Skinner
it.
plays the xylophone.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Good. Yeah.
He plays the air guitar really well in the studio.
Yeah. You don't know. He's got some skills, bro. He's smart.
Well, we want to thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
You know, and I know the fans are going to love listening
This
to
is
what
awesome,
you
man.
have to say. This is really awesome.
I hope it's some things that you can, that somebody can take one thing away.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, I know one thing you take away is just, man, you just stick to something, anything long enough, it's going to stick. Mm-hmm. Just keep trying. When I was growing up in Detroit, 5 or 6 years old, I wasn't the best guy on the block. There was a lot of better drummers, man. Mm-hmm. Just like kids with really natural talent. And I think because I stuck to it and couldn't say no, just like I did in artwork, just like I did with, hanging with the Derek Trucks. Or hanging with, I just believe and stuck to it. So anything you do in life, not just music, anything.
Mm-hmm. Do it with love.
Just do it with love. Do it for the right reasons, and it's going to work.
That sounds good.
Well, thanks, buddy.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yonrico Scott, drummer of the universe. Thank you for listening to Working Man's Radio.